My goodness. Having Zelensky come and speak at Congress after he was already earmarked tens of billions of more dollars for the war effort. I don't know what was the point? What does he think he's going to accomplish? You think he's going to all of a sudden change the trajectory of the direction that the American people feel regarding endless war? I never hear anybody, and I mean anybody, ever say, what's it going to take to end this thing? What's it going to take to get Putin to the negotiating table so that bloodshed can cease? What is it going to take for Ukraine to save face, for Putin to save face? What is it going to take for that to happen? Not let's get in the trenches, let's continue to kill people left and right forever and ever and ever. It's easy for people in this country to say, I'm okay with this, when it's not your kid that's going out there to fight this thing over God knows what at this point. And I don't want to hear nothing about the Donbass or the Azov battalion and, oh my God, we're funding the Nazis and this. Who gives a shit? The bottom line is this is endless war and it's never going to end. And the money is always there for war. Always. There is never a time where there is not money for war. And this is the best kind of war. This is the easiest war to throw money at because it doesn't involve American troops. So the American people, in their haste, will look at this and say, oh, yeah, totally. Stand with Ukraine, Slava Ukraine. Most people would never be able to identify or understand what the motivation is from either side at this point. The only people I feel bad for are the Ukrainian people who have no say in this whatsoever. They are going to go along with whatever NATO wants, whatever the Western powers want, specifically us. But that's it. The bloodshed will be on their hands and they can't do anything about it. And think about this, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, think about where we've been over the past 2 decades. Think about, what it was like when I was in college and listening to people at my age in my classroom saying, we have to go into Iraq to give the people their freedom. And here I am, I'm in my teens, and I'm looking at this and thinking, you can't all be this stupid. You can't all not see the scam that's being run on you right now. Like you honestly can't see it. Think about how many terrorist cells were born out of that. Well, think about how many terrorist cells are going to get born out of it in Ukraine. Think about how many people who are so unbelievably just completely out of sight, out of mind regarding what's going on in Ukraine right now and thinking, when you have to dodge bombs every day, you think that's not going to upset people to the point where they're going to potentially want to seek revenge at some point in their life? The longer this goes on, the more people will be inspired to take action in a very dangerous and volatile and violent way. Maybe it inspires somebody to ultimately figure out a way to attack the United States again. And then the whole cycle repeats itself. This could easily be avoided. This could easily end. But we don't want it to end. Well, let me rephrase. The powers that be don't want this to end. As Paul says, they're all oligarchs. Why would you want it to end? The money's too good. And what's even more amazing is that it's really not that difficult to buy off people. You would think that it would take a lot of money to corrupt people on Capitol Hill or just in politics in general. It doesn't really cost that much. Man, they're getting off cheap. Let me tell you, the amount of money that people walk away from, especially defense contractors, especially weapons manufacturers, pharmaceutical giants, tech gurus, it's too much money for them. Come on. You know what you guys need? You guys need like an agent to negotiate terms. All right, you want to bribe me for this particular thing? It's going to cost you more than you think you're normally getting. You want 10,000? I want 10 million. Give me $10 million and I'll vote for your bill. Hey, if we're getting rich, we might as well get rich equally. But man, so many of our elected representatives are cheap. They are really cheap and easy to buy. I always worry in particular about representatives that have no actual skills in the private sector or as a career in any capacity, whether it is their ability to work with their hands, somebody who's a welder, electrician, doctor. The scariest thing in politics are people that are career politicians, people that basically decide, I'm going to be a bureaucrat for my entire career. Those are the most dangerous people. And yes, they tend to be more on the Democratic side. But it's bad anyway, no matter how many ways you slice it. We have a serious problem in this country with our elected representatives. But ultimately, it comes down to one clear variable. We can get on our elected officials, and rightfully so, and they deserve a hell of a lot of heat. My congressional representative, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, being one of the worst. But in the end of the day, we have corporate special interests of the highest order in a country that has been heading in this direction for probably 40 years. It's getting worse by the day, and there is no end in sight. And so what do we have? We have a class war, and we have to unite around class war issues: living wage, universal health care, a clean energy grid, ending the endless wars, and criminal justice reform. That's my top 5. I believe that's Jen's top 5. And overwhelmingly, people agree on these particular issues. If we can unite on those core issues, we can take the country in the direction it needs to go. It's the ruling class against the working class. That's what it is. And no, Rob, I love you, brother, but Donald Trump ain't saving our ass. It's not going to take some grand leader that's going to solve this problem. Not happening. And obviously, Joe Biden is the ultimate status quo president. For people that are not struggling, for people that have a decent life, maybe even a very comfortable life in that range, yeah, they're very content with Joe Biden. But after what Joe did to the railroad workers, sure, Lana, that would be great. Corruption is the key. We can print money for war. We can print money for healthcare. We can print money to build a clean energy grid. We can stop giving subsidies to these major corporations. They don't even need them. They just want them. The biggest reason that these multinational corporations want these ridiculous subsidies is because they're trying to kill the competition. This isn't real free market capitalism. This is oligarchy. And everyone has to admit that. And the only way you're going to end it, the only way you're pulling this back from where we are right now, no, it's not we're going to rewrite capitalism. It's that you need to add socialism into this country, legitimate socialism. And I ain't talking about socialism for the rich. I'm talking about socialism for the working class, the way it was from the day of FDR to the days of JFK. Upward mobility was possible in this country. It ain't now. You think you can own a house? Good luck, unless you're raking in the dough. And I'm in real estate, and I am very objective and honest with every person I deal with. It's a game, and it's a game that working people are losing every day. And you get bogged down in the type of senseless, nonsensical crap that I see on social media every day. We should be talking about labor every day. That's the key. The future is labor. I've been saying it for as long as any of you guys that have been following our channel that are aware of what we talk about. Thank you, JT. Appreciate you being here, brother. It's always been labor. And it always will be. That's why people get so scared when we talk about it. That's why they fight so hard to crush it. President Biden laid down the most anti-labor legislation since Reagan fired the air traffic controllers in 1981, which was the beginning of all of this shit. If anyone ever has anything positive to say about our president, I will bring this up every time because it's everything. People are like, well, it's just one piece of legislation. No, it's everything for labor. You think right to work laws matter now? They don't mean anything after what Joe Biden did. And people are like, well, it's the GOP who voted for it. He asked for a bill specifically to prevent workers from striking because, God forbid, they don't get their fucking Christmas presents. I'm so goddamn tired of people not seeing the truth. And that's the hardest reality in politics, is that people are tribal. Do you know that the founder of Occupy Democrats, somebody that one of the absolute best senators we have now that's about to take office, John Fetterman, who called them out for the fraudulent organization that they are, Occupy Democrats, I believe his name is Juan Rivero, I think is his name. Do you know that he founded another social media company? Do you know what it's called? Tribal Social. As if tribalism wasn't a big enough problem for us to deal with in the political arena, let's name it exactly what we want it to be, which is let's be tribal about it. Because that's what gets people to sit down and shut up and just do what our side says, because the other side supposedly is so much worse. The truth is, the people at the top are really shitty, and the people that are working class are really struggling and really suffering. And we need to get together on that.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.